Hi everyone, this is Ali Mohammed. It's a nice sunny day in Victoria, BC, and this is my first video on my road trip experience with kids from Victoria, BC to Chicago, USA in a Dodge Grand Caravan minivan. I wanted to share my experience because I couldn't find any helpful videos, especially for such a long drive with kids. I'll try my best to keep the video precise, but I might go off script if I remember something important. I have made a few slides to help you out, so be sure to save the video or take the screenshots of any slides you find helpful. My only purpose for this video is to help people planning a similar road trip, especially with kids. I'm aiming for a straightforward, informative video rather than a polished production. Please bear with me if the slides are basic and the audio quality isn't top notch. So that was the introduction. And why did we actually do the road trip and not just fly? I have always loved driving, and I recently bought a minivan, so this was the perfect time for us to take a road trip, and we did enjoy every bit of it. For your reference, we are a total of four passengers: me, my wife, and two kids under two. So if you have the similar situation, and if you're driving with kids, so this video is exactly for you. So on my second slide here, I have mentioned all the scenarios that could be applicable to you. So watch this entire video if any of these scenarios apply to you. You are taking a road trip from Victoria, Vancouver, anywhere in BC, or even Seattle. If you're going to take the I-90 highway, either way, which is the longest interstate highway in the US, which starts in Seattle, Washington, and goes all the way to Boston, then this video is definitely for you. I have covered most of the reasons why you should continue watching the video, but I will repeat them to make sure the video applies to you and to not waste your time. So watch this video if you are taking the I-90 highway, east or west, especially with kids. You're driving in a minivan. For me, it was a Dodge Grand Caravan, but it could be any vehicle for you, or you could not be traveling with kids. This video will still apply to you. You want to hear about the routes, checklists, and the best time to travel, weather advice, safety precautions, and checklists for the car, kids, and adults on the long road trip. And I'm gonna provide you with a couple of other things on the way. And what this video does not contain is a cost breakdown. It's going to take a long time for me to do the cost breakdown, and I will have another video for that coming up soon. And I will just provide you with the hotels and the information, that the Airbnbs that we stayed at. But I'm not going to be providing you where you should take your stops, because it's totally up to you how long you're going to drive, and it depends on a lot of different factors. So I mean, I will also provide you with information on specific places to visit during the trip or your route, and I'll have different videos on where you can, make the stops and everything. Okay, and let's just dive in right into the video. So things to do before the trip. So this is the most critical thing, and this is very, very important. So car insurance, travel insurance, and health insurance. The first thing I did was to get the full coverage for my car. I got ICBC collision coverage and comprehensive coverage to the maximum limits. You can visit the ICBC website for your respective insurance website and check the options available to you if you're traveling to the US from Canada or vice versa. I personally got the extended liability coverage as well. It is always better to be safe than sorry. And I have a little bit of a story to that as well, which I will talk about later in the video, on why the insurance full coverage is really important. I had the travel insurance from work, And for health insurance, I had MSP, which is Medical Services Plan, which is local to BC. They do cover some emergencies in the states, but keep in mind they don't cover 100%. So rest will come out of your pocket, and if you don't have secondary insurance, then it's going to be a problem for you. Don't get sick in state, guys. So read the MSP guidelines on what is covered. And the next thing is car maintenance and car accessories. If you're planning a road trip, the first thing you need to get fixed is your car. Get regular maintenance done, including tire rotation, wheel alignment, and the oil changes. That's the regular maintenance I got done for my vehicle. Make sure the brakes are working fine and tires have lots of life left. Get the car cleaned, vacuumed, and detailed if possible, because you want to be driving in a clean car, because it's a really, really long drive. And I also have the car checklist in the next slide for your reference, so look into it. And the next thing that you would want for this long trip is BCAA or AAA membership, because I live in BC. We have BCAA here, which is the partner for AAA in USA. So I got that roadside assistance, and you can choose your own roadside assistance from your preferred vendor. I have never fixed a flat tire before in my life, so it was best option for me. My research showed me BCAA, which is again AAA in USA. They also do gas fill-ups in case of an empty tank or battery jumps. I had to use it once, but that was not part of the trip in the States. I was driving my friend's car and stopped right in the middle of the road. I called AAA, and they showed up in 30 minutes and moved the car to the required place. So, um, and I mean, you can use a membership because usually it is attached to you and not your car. So you can, I got this membership, for my entire family. And if you're on a tight budget, just get the basic membership. And the next very important thing is check the weather for the drive duration. This one is very important as well. Check the weather for all the regions or major locations you are going to drive through, especially Wisconsin and Minnesota. I did check the weather before leaving, but we encountered floods, thunderstorms, and very low visibility in both Wisconsin and Minnesota. Again, it depends on what time of year you're driving. We did the road trip in mid-June and returned to Canada after 6 weeks. We had to drive in both Minnesota and Wisconsin with hazard lights on and my windshield wipers going at maximum speed. I couldn't even stop my car on the side of the road because that would be even more unsafe. Thankfully, the kids were sleeping all through the rain and thunderstorms, so it didn't bother them much. And the next thing is to decide the route that you're going to take. So I took the South Dakota route, and it was all right. I mean, there were no issues, and we really did enjoy. I will show you the different routes you can take in the next slides. And then the next thing is things to buy for the trip. So I have added again the checklist. You can follow the checklist, and again, those things just are the things that I personally used and I thought like they were important, but they don't include the basic stuff. That is all up to you. And try to get a lot of snacks for kids because they're gonna be needing that for that long trip. All right, and the next one, let's discuss routes. So these are the actual routes that I got from the Google Maps. I took the South Dakota route, which you're seeing here right now on the screen. So I took the Coho Ferry, which is Black Ball Coho ferry, and I got it from downtown Victoria straight to Port Angeles, and it was about 90 minutes of a ferry ride to Port Angeles, and then from there we drove all the way to the Idaho border. uh, I now see that the spelling for border is wrong, please ignore that. And Montana, and then South Dakota, Minnesota, Wisconsin, and Chicago. So, I mean, the only things that you should be concerned about here is Minnesota and Wisconsin. It really really rained a lot there, and there was another option. Let me move on to the next slide. So this is the North Dakota route. I mean, clearly it doesn't have a lot of difference. Either way, you can take the South Dakota or North Dakota. For me, I preferred the South Dakota route. The only reason for that, because there were less construction. So if you see here the yellow dots that you can see on the slide, those are the construction routes. So I saw those and I felt like South Dakota had less number of constructions going on than North Dakota. So I chose that route, and I mean, even though there were lots of constructions still, but it worked out just fine for me. Um, that was about routes, and now stops planning. So for my trip towards Chicago, I stopped at following places. The first was Spokane, which is in Washington. So I booked an Airbnb beforehand, and after 7 hours of drive, we stopped there, spent the night, and started again the next morning. So we started back again, I think about 6 a.m. in the morning, and we went. I drove straight 13 hours, and we stopped again at Spearfish, South Dakota. There is a long story about this, so I'm going to discuss that now. So what happened was, this was a mistake driving 13 hours, because there was a GPS errors, and when I booked the Airbnb in South Dakota, I booked it right at the entrance of South Dakota, but GPS took me to some other place because of the internet error issues, and it was 2 hours away. So after driving 12 hours, I couldn't drive anymore, and I just found Days in Spearfish, South Dakota. I just did a quick Google search about the safety of the place, and I found it okay. So I spent the night with my family in Spearfish, South Dakota, and it was fine. I mean, we had a nice night of sleep. So the one thing that I'm gonna tell you is, even if you are multiple drivers, do not drive after sunset, especially in South Dakota or Minnesota, or I would say Wisconsin as well. Do not drive at night. So the other danger that we faced here was the animals on the roads, and there were a lot of spots where there were no gas stations for hundreds of kilometers. So make sure that your gas tank is, not lower than 30-35%. I'm going to be discussing that later as well. So make sure that you safely fuel up your tank whenever it is required, before it shows the red sign. um, and the third stop was Worthington, Minnesota, at American. After 7 hours of driving, I didn't drive 13 hours for the third day. It was just 7 hours. So, so what I would suggest is keep at least 3 hours aside for rest stops, breakfast, lunch, or stretching, because kids definitely do need breaks, a lot of breaks actually. I had to stop every like 2 hours to get my kid out, just play with him a little bit, and to make him stretch, because he was getting restless and very uncomfortable even though we had good car seats, but they were really, really restless. So make sure that you just stop consistently in every 2 or 3 hours as required. If they are sleeping, you can just sleep through it, drive through it, but if they are not, then you definitely have to stop. So I mean, for me, the third day towards Worthington, Minnesota, it took 7 hours of drive and 3 hours of break. And the drive in Minnesota had very low visibility due to fog and rain. As soon as we stopped in Worthington, Minnesota, the entire route we came from got blocked due to flooding. We were lucky to have missed that. It rained heavily that night, but the weather was clear in the morning, so be sure to check the weather. The fourth and final day of driving was most difficult because of the weather in Wisconsin. It rained so hard that I couldn't see anything except the car in front of me. Everyone had their hazard lights on. I wouldn't drive in such conditions again. The weather cleared up soon after I passed Wisconsin and entered Illinois. And another thing I would suggest is like be prepared for Chicago drivers. They drive very close and fast with little regard for speed limits and rules. And also expect tolls everywhere in Illinois. A lot of tolls. I think I paid about $50 in just tolls, maybe more than that. I didn't have the tag, so I just created an online account for tolls, which I'm going to be discussing later again. All right, on to the next slide. Don't do's. So keep in mind, don't drive at night with kids, and that's a full stop. You shouldn't, because I had the first hand experience and it was really scary because there were lots of animals on the road. I just tried to push myself for that 1 hour of extra drive and it was really terrible. I shouldn't have done that. There were lots of animals on the road. I have even seen a pack of wolves and a lot of deers on both sides of the road, and I had to drive really, really carefully. So if you don't have any experience, especially, don't ever drive at night, especially with kids. And the second thing is always fuel your car before it reaches 30 to 35% of level. Never let the gauge hit the low fuel light. This is important because there are a lot of places, especially in South Dakota and Minnesota, where you will not find the gas station for about 100 to 200 kilometers. So make sure that you have enough gas. And the other thing is like always keep your eyes open. Just watch everywhere who is following and like the car in front of you and their speed levels. So keep your eyes open and do not drive more than 2 or 3 hours at a stretch with kids, because you already know they need a lot of breaks. And and check the weather for Minnesota and Wisconsin, and if it is rainy, just try to avoid that trip altogether, because you wouldn't want to be in the situation I was, because it was not really pretty, and it really, really made my wife anxious. She was not happy. And do not drive more than 8 hours a day with kids, even if you are two plus drivers. I was the only driver, but even if you are two plus drivers, do not drive for more than 8 hours a day. Just relax, take it easy, and enjoy the drive. Just enjoy the surroundings, enjoy the views. There are a lot of scenic views, so a lot of scenic stops. We try to stop as much as we can to enjoy all the places and everything. I wish I could put on more pictures and everything in here, but I couldn't because it will make the video more and more long. So all right, and do not push yourself to drive an extra hour or mile, because I made the same mistake and I don't want you to do that. All right, and these last couple of slides are the checklist. So I want to go through this because this I feel was really, really important. Emergency kit for the car, in which you can have I mean, things like band-aids. Usually you'll get that on the dollar store or something like that, or maybe Walmart or some other place that you go to. Just get that small emergency kit. It contains a small scissor, band-aids, and a couple of other stuff in there. So in case of any, minor stuff, you can just use that emergency kit. We never had to use it, but it is always to keep that in the car during the long road trips. Spare tire, make sure your car has the spare tire and enough air in it. uh, for me, in my Dodge Grand Caravan, it was really, really difficult to get that tire out because I watched the videos and everything, and I didn't find that helpful. And I don't think I would ever be able to change a tire, considering how difficult it is in Dodge Grand Caravan to get that spare tire out from the front of the wheels. Anyway, and get the car oil change, tire rotation, and wheel alignment done, because you wouldn't definitely want to drive your car without the proper wheel alignment. Get your car washed and detailed. Window shades, if you're driving in summer, you will definitely need window shades, not for you but for the kids, because it will be a lot of sun, and having window shades will also give you some visibility through them. So get those window shades. I got them from Costco and they were really, really good. I don't know if Costco have them on sale right now, but you can check it out. And insurance documents. Don't forget your insurance documents in the car. They are really, really important. And as I already mentioned, get the full coverage. Even if it costs you some extra bucks, just get the full coverage. The reason I'm mentioning that is I got into a small collision when I was in Chicago in the parking lot, and the full coverage uh, came in handy, and I was able to get my car fixed. Uh, so get the full coverage. And again, BCAA or AAA card documents and contact numbers. I saved the contact numbers because if you register for BCAA, it will take at least a week for them to deliver the card. So meanwhile, you can just download the app and sign up and set up everything and save the contact numbers. I saved the contact number for them from in Canada and also from US. If you install the app, it is very easy to call BCAA for in case of any emergencies and everything like that. So do that. Install the app, set up everything. And the next thing is umbrella. Because it's rainy everywhere, even if it is summer, even if the weather looks clear, try to get an umbrella. And I got the igloo cooler. That was really, really helpful for me. I was able to put in a lot of like drinks like bubbly or like Gatorade or whatever, and also I was able to store a lot of milk for my kids in the igloo cooler. So I got it from Costco. They were on sale, so I got it for about, I think it was 50 cans capacity of igloo cooler. I don't remember exactly, but I think so. It was a big one, and it came in really, really handy during the entire trip. Phone stand. You will need a good phone stand, preferably with the wireless charger, because you wouldn't want to, put it on the stand and charge it again, because you will be driving and you don't want to play with the wires while you're driving. So try to get the wireless charger along with the phone stand so you don't have to do two things separately. Dash camera, and this is more for the safety of the car, and also you can record the scenic views along the way. So I would just suggest just get a good 4K camera, dash cam. I mean, this is optional. entirely, but if you get it, it will be really cool to watch the videos and everything later. Car air fresheners, that's a very generic thing. If you want, if you can just have a couple of car air fresheners in the car for good smell. And the other important thing is, as soon as you enter into states, convert your odometer to miles, because you wouldn't want to be driving kilometers when you can actually drive faster in miles. So and actually the speed limits in US are far better than in Canada. So I would definitely suggest you to change that. There was this option in my car to change the system from metric to English, English to metric, something like that, and I did that, and it was really helpful. And windshield wipers, because it rains a lot. I had the windshield wipers checked, and for me it was good, but I again got them from Costco as a backup, because long ago, when I was driving in rain, one of the wipers broke, and I didn't want to take that chance again, so I just had extra pair of windshield wipers. And the last thing is air pressure in the car. So what happened was, I got my air pressure done at Costco before leaving. So the actual air pressure PSI was should be 36, but the person at Costco put in 40. So the problem that happened was, when I was in Minnesota, the gravel was not actually liking the air pressure. I mean, it was really a mess. It was making a lot of sound, and I was actually thinking that my tire got flat or something like that. But thankfully, it was not a flat tire. I went to the mechanic the next day, and asked them to check. So he told me that it was just the air pressure, and that was more than the required limit of 36. So he just lowered it down to 36. Make sure it is up to point. All right, so the checklist for kids again. So get the comfortable car seats and lots of snacks depending on the age, like chips and stuff, whatever the kids eat. I didn't stop on buying a lot of snacks, because I knew that that is one thing that will keep them busy, is the snacks and a lot of toys. Whatever screen they prefer, we had our phones. So we used our phones, and just put on something they like, and that to keep them busy. And also, well, car shades and or a muslin to cover the car seat in case of sunlight. There was a lot of sunlight as well, so try to have a cloth or something like that which will cover the windows or the car seats. Milk, formula, or whatever form of nutrition your kid prefer, just try to have that. And if you have an infant, rattling toys is a must. We had a lot of rattling toys, but in the car it's very difficult to find if you lose one. So what my wife did, she searched on the YouTube video for rattling stuff, and it was quite handy actually. And I really like how creative people are getting with the YouTube videos. And the next thing was, if you have a 2+ year old, keep a small packet of fennel seeds. This is really important. Just keep a fennel seeds, and give them every now and then. It helps the kids not throwing up in case the car is moving on the twists and turns. And also, you can just have a barf bag, which you usually give at the hospitals, the bowl kind of thing to throw up. So you can have those, or just some bags in case if your kids throw up. And lots of diapers, wet wipes, and diaper changing pad. I mean, there are lots of rest stops. You can find diapers and stuff, but you wouldn't want to be using them because of the size and everything. So just try to have as many as diapers as you can. And also, have lots of bags for the used diapers to avoid the stink, and also pacifier, soother, couple of them for the kids because they tend to lose them very frequently. If your kid uses pacifier, soother, good. I mean, it will keep them calm. And sunscreen for kids and for adults as well. My hand, my arm really got sunburns because of driving without the sunscreen. So, because my hand was exposed to sun for a long period of time, so you would want to do that. And try having a throw and a pillow, and medicine for kids like Tylenol, Vicks, and stuff like that. And vaccinations. Try to get the vaccinations done before you leave, because you wouldn't want to be paying anything when you are in states. So get that done. Stroller. I had two kids, but I only got one stroller, which was a sitting stroller, and that was a mistake that I did. Never take the sitting stroller because kids try to sleep whenever you go out, or whenever you drive. And sitting stroller is really really uncomfortable, if you actually, even if you have like really small kids. But if they are like bigger, like 4 plus or something, I think that should be okay. But if you have kids just like me, under two, you would want a comfortable stroller in which the kids can sleep as well. So try to get a single stroller which can fit two kids, so that way you can save a lot of space in the car actually. All right. For adults, let's see. For adults, the first thing that you need for the trip is are the passports, visas, and other documents. Try to get. Don't forget these documents, and check your driver's license validity, because usually people tend to forget that, and if it is not valid, then if you get stopped or pulled over, then it's going to be a problem for you. You wouldn't want to do that. Cash. Try to have at least US dollars 600 to 1000. This is really important because sometimes your cards don't work when you are in US due to security and stuff like that. You wouldn't want to be in a situation when you want to fill up the gas and your card is not working. So try to have at least 600 to $1,000 in cash. The reason I'm saying specifically 600 to 1,000 is because you're gonna be filling up. I mean, again, this is a very rough estimate. You will need at least $450 or $500 of fuel in the car, including the stops and everything. So you at least want to have fuel worth of money with you, and try to divide the cash. You don't want to keep all that cash at one place. Just keep it in a couple of bags and stuff like that, just for the safety. And another thing is, like, if you want to get like US dollars in Canada, I was really worried about getting the cash because the day before the trip I lost my debit card, and I wasn't able to go to the bank and get the card on the same day. So I went to the different bank, and they suggested that I can just get the US dollars straight from the ATM in Canada, and that was really helpful. I just put in my different banks ATM card, and I was able to just get the US dollars straight away from the bank. My bank is CIBC, so that was really helpful. So I didn't have to actually go stand in line and do the stuff for the cash for US dollars actually. So that was kind of handy. And sunglasses, you would want a good pair of sunglasses for adults, at least the drivers. And lots of snacks, chips, drinks, Red Bull, and stuff like that, whatever you prefer to keep awake and be alert during the drive. Just try to have as many things as you want, and a nice playlist of songs which you can groove and enjoy the drive. Preferably Spotify, YouTube, or someplace which works without internet. So what I did was I got the YouTube premium package, which was free for 1 month. So I got that. Uh, So that was really helpful because I didn't have to keep the tab open and look at my phone maps and everything like that. So it was really helpful to get that subscription. Do that. And phones with good internet connection, a backup GPS source, usually car GPS works as a backup. So what I would suggest is like if you are, whenever you enter US, try to get a local SIM card. This will save you a lot of roaming charges. And as soon as you enter into states, or even before you leave Victoria or whatever place it is in Canada that you're driving from, switch off your Canadian phone. If you don't need the GPS, just switch it off. And when you enter US, get the SIM card from there. My preferred SIM card was Leica Mobile because I used to use Leica when I was in States. So try to get that or whatever you prefer, and it was really helpful for me actually. That way I didn't have a lot of roaming charges on my phone. And also try to put on the map in the car GPS as well. That way, like, you are actually going the correct route, because I have had this happen before, as I already mentioned, that I missed my exit due to GPS by 2 hours of a drive. So try to have it, so somehow my GPS was messed up. And plan ahead for roaming charges or SIM card in the US. That's what I was saying right before. Make sure that you have a stable SIM card and everything, and toll account. And when you'll be entering Illinois, if you are, then, or whatever states you're traveling from that have tolls, just do a Google search. For me, it was Illinois, and they have a lot of tolls, so I just made the account to pay off all those tolls easily. And the next thing is perfumes, deodorants, mouthwash, or toothbrushes. So we had our mouthwashes and toothbrushes both. Uh, I never actually got to use the mouthwash, but toothbrushes were really handy because we stayed at a lot of places, as I already mentioned, and we used the toothbrushes, so it was okay. We didn't actually use the mouthwash during the entire trip. Water, you can just get the crate from Costco, the Kirkland crate of water. So we actually used like half of the crate during the entire trip, because I was drinking bubbly, which is the sparkling water, and I liked it. And comfortable clothes, especially for drivers, and emergency contacts and plans. Try to save your emergency contact information in your iPhone. If you don't know how, just Google how to do it. And air tags, this is completely optional. You can get the air tags for kids and put them in their shoes or wherever you prefer, just for the safety and stuff like that. You can put one in the car or in your wallet or whatever. I got the air tags, but I was never able to use them. So it's completely optional. I mean, it's up to you if you want to use them. All right. So conclusion. You should definitely do this trip. And if you have questions, just put it in the comments, and I will try my best to answer your questions, concerns, or suggestions. Uh, you know, um, it's always welcome. So please be sure to like, subscribe, and share. And thank you for watching the video. And you have a great day. Thank you.